Let me link it to the book, and we can get it. All right, we'll be linked up in a second. Should be good. All right, we're linking up now. We're live. All right, we're linking up now. We're live. All right, we're linking up now. We're live. Let's get it. Now, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I am your host, Tyrone Bridges. Let's get it. Chest. 1, 2. Welcome. Welcome to a special edition of I Thought You Knew. I am your host, Tyrone Bridges. And we have a very special guest on our show. Civil rights activist, Mr. Lee Tooson. Lee, let's get your video on. And let's get it. Everybody, we're about to talk about some things that we should be talking about. Bringing you the conversations that most people don't cover on the show. If they cover it on the show, it'll be more of a softball situation where they won't ask the right questions. So here I am bringing this show. This is a not planned show, but we bring it on live because we can. And as soon as Mr. Tooson video is on, his audio is on, we're gonna bring him live. Y'all, RIP to the young man who lost his life yesterday. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy what happened. I know y'all seen the post that MLive post after I spoke about the shooting. And the post that I post got 1.1K views. 1.1. That's a lot of views for a shooting in Ypsi. That's a lot of views for a shooting in Ypsi. Young 18-year-old boy. What we need to do is we need to have conversations like this with politicians that's in office, that's holding seats, and call them to the carpet Y'all see how many politicians came on my show. For those who didn't come on the show, this is a prime example. They don't want to face the questions, the hard questions. The questions about if we got everything together so much, we putting the money in the places that you claim, still is not stopping the bodies from dropping. So I don't understand a lot of the political conversation that's out there in the universe right now. I don't understand it. I don't understand that our Black politicians representing in Lansing, and they've been quiet as church mouses, hitting up with crickets. But do you notice when election time comes, everybody got a plan? Everybody got a plan. There go Lee. How you doing, Lee?
I'm doing good, Bridges. How about you?
All right. As I was just speaking, everybody got a plan during election time. Everybody.
Yes.
All right, Lee, come on and talk to him for me, sir.
Yeah, Ty, I'm glad.
Y'all bear with us, y'all. We lost his feed, his video feed. Bear with me.
Can you hear me, Bridges?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My phone is messing up here. I'm trying to get it straight here. It keep cutting off on me.
That's all right. As long as we hear your voice, we'll see your name. So y'all, I'm gonna end up helping you set up his video so we can do some more interviews and conversations about our little old Washtenaw County, Ypsilanti. When you're putting these young kids' names on shirts, they don't call sides, they call natives of Ypsi, children from Ypsi. These are babies in Ypsi. But once again, here it is time for election time. Everybody got a plan. My question is if everybody has a plan now, where was the plan before election? Where was the plan before election? Was it a hidden plan? What was it? I'd like to know. I hear people talk about things that we could be doing together in trying to change some of this violence. And see, that's the key. That's the key word, together. There's no I in team. The team has to be a proper team in order to understand the problem that they have. So my question to everybody that wants to speak about what could we do? What could we do? I don't understand. I'd like to know. What could we do? We have these politicians in office right now that's been in office. Once again, they all got plans. Even the politicians that's been in office for over a decade. but they're really not talking about the plan. They're not. That's right, Charis. That's right. The team involves caretakers, parents, and the community. That's right. That's exactly what it takes. So y'all, we gonna have this conversation because we got time. We got time. We got plenty of time right now. Ypsi, Washtenaw County, politicians. Let's talk about the plans. The plans that you have in play right now. Or should we wait till when you're elected or when you're re-elected? The plans will go into play then. I'm talking about way before election time. During COVID. Before COVID. Just want to know. I'm asking these honest conversational questions. This is the reason why we have forums. We have public forums that we're trying to put together. That's why I Thought You Knew came about. Because we want to ask the questions. Ain't no scared conversations here. Ain't no softball questions either. But our problem, we can't get the right motherfuckers to come on the show. A lot of people feel I should not target those ones that don't want to come on the show. That's your opinion. But you have to understand that those are the politicians that need their feet held to the fire. Them ones that been in office 10, 15, 20 years. We got to hold their feet to the fire. We definitely do. All right, we were working on getting Lee in. All right, there go Valerie's picture. All right, Miss. There we go. All right, I see you right there. I see you there. All right.
Recording in progress.
All right, I think he's coming on, y'all. Forgive me. Well, these conversations should be had. And Leah, yes, it does take money. It does take money to help folks do things in the community to change what's going on. I definitely like to bring you on the show and have a conversation with you and anybody else that wants to have a conversation, Leah. Because yes, we all have differences of opinion, but our babies are still dying out there. And of course, y'all know what I've been doing for years, working with youth. For years. And a lot of the programs that I have in place are not in place. We had lack of funding. Zero funding. Most of my programs was paid for out my own pocket. Y'all think something wrong with that? Yeah, it is about us and it's about our babies. It's about what we could do. It's what we could do together. You connected, Lee?
I'm connected, Bridges.
All right, let's talk, man. because a lot of people having things to say. In my opinion, talking loud, saying nothing.
Well, but Bridges, you got to always understand one thing. You always have them haters out there. You always have them folks that's got positions, got jobs that they are afraid of. They're afraid to say anything because they're afraid it's going to reflect back on their job.
On their jobs. So they're afraid. They're afraid.
They're afraid. They're not going to talk because my job is at stake. And that's the anvil that they got hanging over Black folks' head.
And let me be blunt. Let me be blunt with that one right there. Let me turn my fan off so I can make sure I perfectly hear you. I mean, for those who are blaming people, for those who are talking about people with media platforms and this, that, and the other, you have to understand we build our own media platform from where we come from and what we do. And if the money was in the right places, properly monitored, then some things could get done. But if you are well connected in the system, within the sheriff department, you working for the county or in the school system, you're well connected. So for anybody that is well connected to speak to us Black men who've been here, done that, and still doing it, it's a shame that that conversation has to start off like that, because once again, the resources ain't there. Anything I do, once again, I pay for it out of my own pocket, because I'm not going to beg a government for monies. They know they should be giving it up for the right thing. And the public needs to keep an eye on these money groups, the groups that get money. They need to keep an eye on that. Because I don't care how much money you throw out there in the community, in these groups, within the sheriff department, within the prosecutor's office, if you don't have the right people connected and working together, your mission will be flawless. It would be flawed. We supposed to all be able to work together. Not friends, not people who are in the offices, connected to the sheriff department in the county, and then turn around and talk back to us like we haven't been doing anything. I don't get it. I'm off my soapbox now, but I'm going to speak like I want to speak on my show. And I'm going to bring it like I want to bring it on the show, raw. And if you don't like it, don't hate, turn it off.
And I can always appreciate that about you, Ty. And that lets me know that you're still sitting on your own porch and you're still doing it the way it should be talked about. In our Black community is, I don't know if it's on the attack or been under attack or being attacked. And if it's so, then there are those out there that know that it's on the attack, being attacked, and is being attacked, and they sit back and don't say nothing. Yes, you got elected officials out there that ain't worth two hoots and tom in. They do things they have no business doing, and they know that the system has got them exactly where they want them, and they can't wiggle, they can't move, they can't G, or they can't hop. They can't do nothing but say, yes or massa. That's all they can do, because they know they can pull the rug on them from any time they get ready.
That's right.
And that's why you don't have Black officials coming to bat for you.
You don't.
Because the system has got some on them, and the system can move toward them and snatch them anytime they get ready, if they not saying what the system wants. But you see me, I've always been stag all my life. Run by myself, depend on myself, say what I want to say when I get ready to say it.
Mhm.
See, it's a lot of blacks out there that wish they could talk like me. But you know what? They can't talk like me because guess what? They can't go to the party if they talk like Lee Tooson.
That's right.
They ain't gonna get the promotion if they talk like Lee Tooson.
That's right.
They're not gonna be accepted by the majority if they talk like Lee Tooson. So they wish they could talk like me. But you know what, man? I'm gonna keep on advocating for people. I don't care if they black and white. Black or white, it don't make no difference to me. Because you got some white folks out there that can't speak for themselves. You got some black folks out there that can't speak for themselves. And you got black officials that's not gonna come up to the plate and speak for them.
Not at all.
They're not gonna do that.
Not at all.
And that's a shame. They should be ashamed of themselves.
And they should be brought out.
You know, I watched things since 1986. I always wanted a police department to be like it was when I was a kid, when Ray Walton was the police chief. And when 86, when I come out of school, I hit the streets, man, as I've always said, trying to tell my black folks the do's and the don'ts, the cans and the won'ts.
Mm-hmm.
Some listened, some didn't. But I had black preachers telling me, Tooson, you need to back off. You don't know when you're gonna need them.
With the coward selves.
I said, Lord, how much? They don't know when they're gonna need me either. They wanted me to back off. And the reason they do that, man, because they looking from something from the system. It's something that they want to do. But if they come out against the system, guess what? The system ain't gonna let them move forward. So they
cooning and slaving as well. And you know what, Lee? And I know for a fact, I know some preachers that's out here cooning and grinning and selling his own people out. I definitely do. A lot of people don't want you to talk about the preachers because back in the days, the preachers were our places or our comfort zone. My pastor that passed away at Second Baptist Church, that was my pastor, Pastor Hopkins. That was the one that I went up under. But the rest of them out here, they can talk behind the pulpit, but like I said, I don't see a lot of them in the streets no more.
Well, Ty, listen. The only way you deal with a preacher, this is the only way you deal with a preacher. Deal with him out of that book that he preaches out of. That's the way you deal with him. You know, the Bible asks us a question. How can you hear without a preacher? And how can he preach lest he be sent? Now, my question to a lot of them, who sent you? Who sent you and what sent you? You understand what I'm saying, man?
Yes, sir.
So I don't, if he or she said they are preachers, I'm not gonna say they're not, but I'm gonna watch what you're doing.
You're gonna watch they walk.
I'm gonna watch what you're doing, and believe me, I watch very closely to what they're doing, because basically that's in my job description.
Yeah.
That's in my job description.
And them politicians, that are preachers.
And when I don't see it happening, I wash my hands. I do like Pilate. I wash my hands and leave them alone, man, because they ain't doing what God said do.
They know they're not.
Go, listen what he tell them. Go in the hedges, in the highways, and compel them to come.
That's right.
But do you see them doing that?
No way.
No, they don't do it, man. You know what they do? They'll sit behind that pulpit and wait till they see a strange face. And then they'll tell a lie on God. The Lord just told me somebody need to be saved.
Wow.
Because they see a strange face, and they want to fish when he come to church and won't fish while he out there in the street. So I don't pay close attention to them, because you know what? I can preach myself.
That's
and,
right.
and I look at it this way. I don't think one around here can preach any better than me. I do not believe that, because that's in me. But again, it gets down to who called you. Who called you? It says many are called, but a few chosen. It's just like the military. There are a lot of us called.
That's right.
But a few get chose.
That's right.
You have to be in 1A to get chose. I was in 1A 2 times. I was chose twice. See, and these fellows got to understand, these preachers. I hope all of y'all listening. And I tell you to your face, because I ain't scared of none of you when it comes down to the real truth. There's a war going on out here, and there are soldiers that you need in the army to fight.
That's right.
And the book tells you how to get them soldiers. There's an old prophet that he needed some soldiers. And he was told, take them down by the brook. You grab all the men over there and go down by the brook. And all of them that lap water like a dog and don't look up, you don't need them. Because they ain't gonna be no good soldiers. They ain't fighting. They ain't no good fighters.
They looking for handout.
Those that lap like a dog and look up, those that lap and look, those are the ones that you choose in your army. Are they out here looking for these kind of soldiers?
Nope.
No, they are not. Preachers in the Ypsilanti community have no clout. Why? Because they done moved out. They done got tired of the noise. They done got tired of the little boys with their pants hanging down, tired of the loud music. They want rest. So you know what they do? They move somewhere else where they can be quiet. They want peace and quiet, and don't understand the only way they're gonna get peace and quiet is they fight and go to heaven. Because that's the only way you're gonna get any kind of peace or quiet. Suffer till I get him. But they enough of that, Ty, because you know what? They ain't gonna do no better. Let me show you something.
They leave your video off.
The video is out?
Yeah, your video just went out.
But you can hear me though.
I can hear you. But everybody,
Okay.
this is Mr. Tooson's wife. This is not Mr. Tooson speaking. This is Mr. Tooson speaking, but his wife's picture is up there. So I don't want y'all to think anything that we playing any tricks on y'all. He's having a little video difficulty. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, see, I got a new phone, and I gotta learn to get it right on track.
That's all right. We'll get your technology right momentarily.
Okay.
We get it right.
Because Ty have a lot to say, and I'm not scared to say it.
Well, let's pop it off, bro. Let's talk to him.
As I said, in this community, it could be a much better community, as you said earlier, if everybody worked together. But you know, they fight one another. The preachers, they fight one another. Different groups, they fight one another. Folks fighting your show. Folks fighting Trichet's show. Folks fighting a Foley show. Fighters, but they fighting against each other. And you know what? Master looking back and say, I'm still sitting on the James River. I got a bag of tricks here, and I got it working.
And he has and he love it like that.
Willie Lynch still working, man.
He love it like that.
He love it like that. He still got it like that, man.
And remind them our Willie Lynches, remind them our Willie Lynches in this day and age in 2022 ain't only white. Our Willie Lynches is black as well. We have some black Willie Lynches in office.
Oh, ain't no question. Ain't no question. I'll state that anytime.
Now check this out. Now I must mention this because it's one politician. Sent around mailers, like I get a lot of mail from him, like when I don't get bills. Talking about the Orange Barrel Project. Let me hit y'all with this one right here. Lee, correct me if I'm wrong. You know I'm speaking from the heart. Out of my 52 years of living in Washtenaw County, as many Orange Barrel projects that we didn't had from one corner to Ypsilanti to the next corner of Ypsilanti. Am I right or wrong, Lee? There has not been a major push by any Black politician for jobs on the Orange Barrel projects that's been going around in our county in Ypsilanti. Am I wrong or right, sir?
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You know, he was not a politician, but he was a preacher that was down with what was going on in his Black community. They called him Uncle Tom, but they didn't know they was calling him the right name because Uncle Tom always looked out for his people. That's what Uncle Tom done. But you got Bojangles out there that dancing. You got a bunch of Bojangles. Reverend S.L. Roberson, he fought for that kind of cause to get Black folks jobs doing those kind of episodes, man. No, you Black politicians, no, they ain't gonna get out there and do that, man.
None of
them.
I
don't know one that did. And you're absolutely right.
None of
you're
them.
On target.
And honestly,
you're on target.
And the thing of it is, y'all, I want y'all to understand, I want y'all to hear. Lee know he been seeing me, he been knowing me for years. He know what I've been out here doing. Even in the midst of me doing the No More Black on Black violence on the south side of Ypsilanti during the rise of the gangs and the drive-by shootings in the earlier days, I still didn't have Black politicians support. And the reason why I mentioned that, because I want y'all to understand. Take this back for a second. You mean to tell me a young Black man, such as myself, when we have Black politicians in office, they can make some things happen? Neither one of them supported me? No, neither one of them. I only have one Black politician that been knowing me for years. And I wish he was still in office, but he had been in office a long time, that supported me. Just one. This was way before the haters came out. We need politicians, Black politicians, to be held accountable, period. If you are a Black politician and the crime rate is high as hell, higher than when you took office, and you want to rerun again, what does that tell the public? You ain't getting nothing for your tax dollars. You ain't getting nothing for your tax dollars. Like I said, the Orange Barrel projects. Ain't no Blacks, I don't see very many Blacks working at all. Any of these other projects.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And
a lot of money being made out there, but it ain't coming to our pockets.
No, you're on target, Ty. And you know what? It's very sad that a fellow of your caliber, your knowledge, and the things that you've been doing, that Blacks do not want to support you or help you because they look at what they call the past.
You know what, Lee? I broken that myth that these Black politicians look at me for my past. Because if you want to be honest, my past was a mark, a blemish. It was a eeny beeny dot on my record. But the stuff I did beyond me being incarcerated. Most of these black politicians was pissed because they didn't come up with it. A black man like me teaching kids how to use computers and how to build and repair computers, technology. I couldn't get the support, but I still can do the things that I'm doing without their support. But I want the politicians that look like me to be out there with me to help push a powerful program. But they still didn't do it. And then you got blacks that's running things in our county, in our cities. They haters as well. They don't want to see you come in and do a little bit better. The opportunities aren't there. They want you to volunteer forever when you get out of the penitentiary. But just because I don't play ball with the county and I don't play ball with the sheriff department, they'll make sure I don't get no jobs within the county.
You're on target, Ty. You're on target, man.
That's that blackball by black men. You hear me? I ain't say no white men, because most of the people that helped me was white.
I hear you. Let me show you something in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, I've been in my neighborhood since 1974, November 24th. And when I came to my neighborhood, Ty, I didn't sit down because I know this same neighborhood, it was predominantly white when I came here. And before I got here, it was all white. You wasn't allowed to come through Ainsworth Circle without getting the dog sicked on you when you trying to go down to the Martha Washington Theater. Mm-hmm. But I remember so vaguely, man, that when I moved over here, there was things that needed to be done, and I went to fight for it. And that was the park that's now called Karen Madley's Tot Lot. I knew how it was when I was a kid coming through here, and they would run us out the park because we didn't live over here.
Wow.
So I saw how the park grew up, play equipment messed up. So I went out there and started fighting for it, man. And then you know what? I had a lot of black folks telling me, Tooson, you need to go somewhere and sit down. Just leave things alone. I don't fool with them kind of people.
Them coons.
But let me show you something. I've been here since 74. And I have never had black folks in my community, Ainsworth Circle, to tag up with me to try to get something done. There was a man named Preston Bowman, a white man. He's dead and gone now. He was the only one that would come and say, Lee, if you got the nerve to do it, I got the nerve to help you. See, now that was a white man telling me that. There has not been a black person in Ainsworth Circle came forth and say, Lee Tooson, you're doing the right thing. We're going to help you so we can get better. But now watch now. Watch now. Ain't no black folks come yet. You hear? But now you got a lot of white people that to move into Ainsworth Circle. And I get knocks on the door, Ty. And they say, are you Lee Tooson? I said, yeah. Oh, we heard a lot about you. And I wanted to meet you. Anything that we can do to help you move forward, let us know. And that's just not one couple. That's not two couples. That's not just three couples. That's couples coming knocking on my door asking me if it's anything that they can do. So evidently, they've been reading the news. Some of them even told me they read the news in the past, how I was active in the city trying to get things done. But you know what? I don't care who it is. They come white or black. Come on, let's get it done. And I ain't looking for no credit. I just want it done.
Not even
That's
a
all.
check. Not even
That's all there is to it, man. I want it done. And it's the same thing as pertaining to things that happen in our community here. Tyrone, listen to me. It hurts my heart. And you know you hear these preachers all the time hollering, the kids are our future. Let's protect the children. They ain't doing nothing but talking out the side of their mouth. That's
And
all
lying.
they're doing.
And lying.
Watch
I mean,
this.
I'm gonna say it like it is, lying.
Okay, Ty, we got an 11-year-old kid, an 11-year-old child was abducted May 20th.
That was the 11-year-old that came across our wire that was missing in Ypsi, right?
No, not this here happened May 20th. This was May 20th.
Okay.
May 20th this year. 11-year-old girl, autistic girl, not at herself. You understand me?
Yeah.
She was abducted May 20th, and she was dropped off May 21st, like we would drop off a dog that we didn't want.
That was the same girl, sir. They called my show. They called my show.
Yes. Her assailant is still out there, Ty.
And,
now
and the public had no idea about it.
Watch this. And you know what? The public don't care. You hear me? The Black community don't care, Ty. Let me show you something. Here it is. You got a police chief down in Ypsilanti. He's supposed to be concerned about everything that goes on in the city that he has vowed to protect and serve. This police chief has not even told the city manager. He didn't even report it to the city manager that this little 11-year-old girl was abducted, raped. Now, she was raped, Ty. She wasn't just dropped off. She was raped and dropped off.
And you talking about the chief of Ypsilanti Police, Chief Tony Dejinski, right? Dejinski.
I'm talking about Tony. I can't call him chief no more because he don't hold that credit with me no more.
Okay.
When he first came here, I would call him chief. And he was about his business, seemingly, when he first came here.
That's how they be.
He met with the NAACP. We talked to him in the NAACP office, and he seemed to be down with what was going on in the community. But in this case, this little girl I'm talking about, autistic little girl, she was raped and she Black. Does Black lives matter to Tony?
No.
Don't matter to him.
No, it
now,
don't.
If this had been Tony's little girl,
that
was raped and thrown off, every policeman in his department would be on the search. They only got one person with concern, and that's Annette Coppett. She's
one of the best they got.
She's the only one down there, Ty, that is concerned about this 11-year-old girl. She does not have any help in bringing her assailant to justice. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of evidence and a lot of things has already gotten away because Tony would not give her the help that she needs to pursue this case. Now, watch this, Ty. Let me show you how discriminative he is. He won't give Annette, Officer Coppett, what she needs, but he gives his favorite boy, Mike Thompson, what he needs. Now, you remember there was a shooting on the south side of Bud and Joe's.
Yeah. Yep.
Boy got killed.
I covered it on the show.
Yes, you did. Now, watch this. Watch what I'm saying. Listen close to what I'm saying. They didn't give that case to Officer Coppett, who is very familiar with detective work and know how to do it. And she's the best Ypsilanti ever had. And it's nobody down there and that police department can beat her doing what she do.
Period.
But watch this. He gave it to Mike Thompson. They gave it to Mike Thompson, who do not know how to, if you raise up a window, he don't know how to throw water at it.
And so they still haven't found the man who shot and killed that man at Bud and Joe's.
No, they haven't. But watch this here. They haven't found him. But watch this. Here comes the discriminative part. He won't give Officer Coppett what she need, but he gave Thompson 4 people. And Thompson ain't found nothing out yet. This is what Thompson says. This is what he allegedly said. This is too much work for one person. I need 4 people. And he got it. He got it. Now, the city manager has to do something about how the police chief is operating.
Lee, the city manager, we should have her on the show, but I don't know if she'll come.
She, undoubtedly she will, because Miss Francis ain't got nothing to hide. She ain't got a thing to hide.
And she should know how we feel about that, man. I mean, this chief, he's been getting away with a lot of stuff, but I always hear people within the city government always say, hey, he's done some good stuff and he never get patted on the back for it. We ain't talking about the good stuff. We talking about, we got an active shooter still running around here who killed that young man at Bud and Joe's. We still got an active shooter. And we got people popping off talking about we need to do something with these babies being killed. We need to be trying to get new doggone chief of police.
I'm hoping we get a new chief. Because Jaguski has lost his interest in being a police chief for the city of Ypsilanti. And another thing that I'm hoping, when we get a new chief, I hope we don't get one from inside.
No.
Because see, Ty, when you get them from inside, they come off the same cloth.
Yep.
They come off the same cloth and they operate the same way. They'll lie and say they're gonna do different, but you know what? Ain't no truth in it, man. No truth in it.
No.
You got police officers, and I could go on and on, man, but you got police officers down in Ypsilanti Police Department that wants to be policemen.
And they can't because of they leader ain't a police.
They leaders not policemen, and they got them sergeants and lieutenants behind them. You know, anytime a ranking officer, anytime a ranking officer can say, if she was a man, I'd have been and bust her in the mouth.
They got some chaotic stuff going down there, man.
Now
that's ridiculous.
It's alleged that this is the statement that Mike Thompson made in regards to Annette Coppett. And if this allegation is true and the chief puts up with that, then the chief ain't no better than Thompson.
Then Thompson and the chief need their ass canned.
No question. Now watch this. Watch this, man. There are promotions coming up in the police department. You got a lieutenant that's going to leave in July. That position is completely open. You got a female police officer that's a sergeant that's acting lieutenant because Lieutenant Anderson is on leave. So she's acting in his position. You hear me?
Yeah.
All right, now watch this. The position that's going to be open, prominent position, she deserves that position. But I'm gonna show you the monkey wrench that police department throws in the game when it comes down to women. They don't want them there, believe me. Ypsilanti Police Department do not want a woman lieutenant. They don't want women sergeants. They don't want that. What you got down there? All men lieutenant and all men sergeant, with the exception of Officer Sergeant Brooke. Now, she is acting lieutenant, and they won't even acknowledge the fact that she's acting. They still call her sergeant. Low down, man. It is low down. But now watch. She's up for this lieutenant position, and they're gonna try to throw a monkey wrench in there by giving her one of these little manly form tests that they give to keep women from moving up. Now watch this. Jaguski, he know devilish well that he could circumvent any time that he get ready. But he's not gonna do it in Officer Brooks' case because he ain't never liked her. He's not gonna do it in her case. Now watch this here. But now, Annette Carpet is in the detective department. She's just a detective. She ain't got no stripes, which the girl don't. She don't work on stripes. She works on honesty. Let's get it done. Let's protect our citizens, the folks that we're protecting and serving, the community. Let's do that. But now watch this. She can get out of the detective department tomorrow if she accepts a job as sergeant. She can be a sergeant tomorrow, but she would have to leave the detective department. Jaguski says to her, I will promote you tomorrow. Okay, fine. But can I stay here? No, you got to get back on the road. Because what Jaguski wants to do, from my perspective, he wants to put his favorite boy in Annette's position, which he will never be able to fulfill it. Now watch this. Now, with that job being, Anderson's job being open, Ty, as a lieutenant that will be acting, I guarantee you, he gonna put Mike Thompson in that position. Mike Thompson, with his record, does not deserve no leadership in the Ypsilanti Police Department. I don't know how he got stripes in the first place. In order to get stripes, you have to be done something. You have to be done something to deserve stripes. Just listen to the old man. You need to be done something to receive stripes. But you know, when you're a stripe hog, you just a stripe hog, and that just bottom line, man. And then when you can go and have two chases, high-speed chase, violate every chase policy, everything in the chase policy, you violated, Ty. But Jaguski never punishes him for it. Okay, come up with a second chase. Ended up in a death. Jaguski never punished him for it. As a matter of fact, Jaguski told Francis a big old lie that it was only one person involved in the chase. Now, what the city manager should do, she should stick him to the fire for lying to her. I'm gonna tell you why.
We talking about that chase that was on Michigan Avenue that took the life of that lady?
Yes.
Okay.
And he lied to her. Now, Jaguski says that he hates liars. Officer Green, she was a Black officer. That was one of his reasons that he dismissed her, because she lied. Jaguski is a big liar also. Now, how should he be dismissed for lying? Man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
That's right.
You got these little police officers that let me show what happens in police departments, man. When you got policemen that want to move on and they don't want them to move, you know them low down dirty administrators would do? Hey, they drop a dime on them. Hey, don't take him, don't take her. They ain't no good for the department. They're a liability. They sexist, they this, they that.
Wow.
Oh man, this is how dirty things happen. And watch this. Administration, the police chief know about it. And he ain't gonna do nothing.
Wow.
The police chief know about illegal things that happens. Hey, Ty, listen to me. Listen to the old man. Is it illegal for me to go in a house, searching a house without a warrant?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's illegal. It's illegal for me to enter that house by me knocking on the door, and the door flings open and I walk in. Yeah, man, that's illegal. Is it illegal for me to go and search that house, not having a warrant, and find some items in that house and bring them out? Is that illegal? It's illegal. Chief Jaguski know all about that, Ty, and he will not do nothing about his leading officer. You hear me? These are things that bothers me, and I'm not ashamed to talk about it. I'm not ashamed, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. And and then you got this same Sergeant Thompson allegedly telling some of these young police officers, y'all got to look out for Lee Tooson. That's y'all enemy. And man, how low down can you get?
And
how low down can you get?
He have the nerve to say some stuff like that.
How low down can you get? But these kids, these young officers know who their real enemy is him. They know who their real enemy, and that's happened in the past, Ty. Any time in the past when new police officers come into the YPD, you know what they be told? Look out for Lee Tooson. He's a troublemaker, because Lee Tooson gonna throw it on the code, on the plot, what you're doing wrong. I'm gonna throw it out there and hope that people catch on. And after a while, the people catch on and say, you know what, Lee, you wasn't lying. That stuff you talking about is absolutely true. But you're gonna have a chief, a police chief, that know he's got a golden circle in his police department. And he's part of that golden circle. Golden circle is what they do. They uphold one another.
They do.
I cut Jaguski a loose. Let me tell you when I cut him a loose. The first chase that Thompson violated, I went to talk to him about it. Lieutenant Yukos and I were in the parking lot talking, and then Tony drives up, and I started talking to him about it. And this is what he told me. I doubt if it happened that way. And you know what I done, man? I shook the dust from that dude, shook the dust from my feet for that dude then. Because I know he's a cover up, just like the rest of them are. Covering up things. And we don't need that in a police department. These guys that got stripes, if they earn the stripes, they deserve the stripes, keep them. But the things that Thompson has done, Thompson even told my niece, that my brother's fingerprints was on a house that was supposedly been broken into, that my brother owned. Well, then if that's the case, when you gonna make the arrest, man?
Right.
See, but what they do, they get out here and tell lies on people, hoping they can gain rapport with folks out in the street. That's the way he operates. And I would tell him to his face. I won't tell him just on this broadcast. I tell him to his face. Now, I'm all for policemen being treated fair. I'm all for residents being treated fair. When the police was having problems with their insurance under Darwin, the ex-city manager, I go to city council and I'm on a fight for the rights of these policemen to have the proper insurance, because they got families,
right,
and the whole 9 yards be taken care of. I even set up a meeting at Second Baptist, hoping that the preachers would collectively come together and put the word out there, protect these guys' insurance.
And it probably didn't happen, huh?
No, it didn't happen. It did not happen. Waddles was there because he was a preacher, but none of the rest of them was there. So
you can't get them all together for nothing.
Pardon me?
They all read out the same Holy Bible. They teach out the whole the whole Holy Bible, but you can't bring them all together for nothing.
No, you cannot bring them together for anything, Ty. And I would really want the city manager and the council to bring Jaguski on the carpet for everything that he's letting happen in that police department. Because them young policemen, they see what he letting his favorite boy get away with. And if they stomp their feet, they get punished for it. It's a total shame. And you know what? I'm going to tell you the honest truth. It's not going to happen in my city. I'm going to claim this city if nobody else does. It's not going to happen in my city because, you know, it do not have to happen. We need fair, honest, respectable leadership in our police department. And as it stands right now, we do not have it. I don't have no friends where right and wrong is concerned. And I hope council do not take their friendship so tight with the chief that they can't act what they acted on things they need to act on and do what they're supposed to do. They supposed to, if the city manager wants to take action, they should want her to take action. If the city council calls for a investigation, the city manager should okay the investigation.
Right.
And that's the way it needs to be, Ty. And it really upsets me when you got a ranking officer gonna talk about busting a woman in the mouth, and you supposed to be her back. You took the same vow she took. You supposed to protect her when you out there with her.
Messy.
You know, I'm like this. I'm a 75-year-old man, and I hope that never takes place where this ranking officer wants to knock this woman in the mouth. I hope that never takes place, but as a 75-year-old man, I would love to be around when that attempt is made.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be around when that attempt is made, because you know what? I would rather get busted in the mouth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
I would rather get busted in the mouth than to have Annette Carpet bust in the mouth, because she has done great police work for the city of Ypsilanti. She was born to be a policeman. She was born to be that, man. And then you're going to have a cop threaten her in that respect, bust her in the mouth. Why? Why you want to bust her in the mouth? Evidently because she know you ain't worth a quarter.
Mm.
He know that she know he couldn't find a cat up a tree. And then the administration, the chief, he's going right along with all of that. I would really debate in a debate with Jaguski any day as about what's happening in the police department. Yeah. And I would burn him up.
We definitely need to make that happen.
I listen to you just hear me talking a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
I would burn him up with everything I know.
Mm.
I would burn him up with it, with everything I know. This ain't all. I know stuff that it would be. I wouldn't want to make it on a podcast. I want to do it to him straight up in his face and bring him to shame, because it's not what we expected from the NAACP. We did not expect him to act in the fashion that he's acting. When Jaguski came to town, the NAACP gave him an award. And I asked Shoshana today, why did you give that man an award? And he had not done nothing. But they gave him an award. And then now he pans out like this. Man, justice for all when it comes down to me. When it comes down to me, policemen are people too. They got feelings and they go to administration. Ty, listen, they can't get any satisfaction from administration. Guess what happens with them? They go out in the community, they mad, they knock me and you in the head because they mad. They putting out our frustrations. They go home to their families. They beating up their wife and their kids. They turn into the whiskey bottle. They started to being drunkards. Watch it. They disconnected from the community because they ain't got nobody they can talk to. You hear me? And then ultimately, guess what happened? They pull the trigger on themselves.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen, man. But that does not have to happen if administration like Tony Jaguski and all them other ones that's sitting up in there do what they supposed to do, man. You got a police officer here, man. You got a police officer that's down with the community that want to do things. There was a situation where a little girl, man, you listen to the old man, was made to pull sexual acts on men like her mama was doing. Her mama forced her to doing that. It came into the realm of the law now. And then there's one police officer that's diligently about trying to get something done about this.
I followed that case. I was following that case at that case you're talking about. I was following that case.
Now watch this. Watch this. A lieutenant, Lord have mercy. A lieutenant tells this officer that's diligently wants to get something done about this, you stay out of it. You ain't got nothing to do with it. She gonna be effed up the rest of her life anyway. God, what kind of leadership in a police department gonna act like that, man?
Man.
If somebody was doing his kids like that, how would he act? How would you act?
I'd be angry as hell.
And then you got the police chief that's setting up in there. Tony knowing about all of this stuff, but don't do nothing about it.
And how you expect us to get crime solved and stop these shootings from happening, all this skullduggery going on in the Ypsi Police Department?
See, you watch this, man. When a lot of these guys out in the street see that the police don't care, they don't care either.
No, they don't care.
They don't care because you know what? Hey, ain't nobody gonna track me down.
No, they don't care.
Ain't nobody gonna track me down.
And then when you're getting softball sentences, when you're shooting somebody, or you're getting slapped on the hand because of this damn prosecutor, the new prosecutor, and they come out and shoot somebody, kill somebody. What happens, this prosecutor and this doggone law enforcement system is allowing them kids to set themselves up for a long stay at the penitentiary house.
No question. No question. No question.
Repeating offending.
Absolutely. You know what, man?
Offending and end up getting a federal case. I watch it all the time.
But you see that prosecutor? That prosecutor is not doing anything but putting a rope around his own neck.
But everybody is tooting, not everybody, but most people is tooting his wings.
Hey,
they
absolutely.
Toot his horn.
You got a lot of blacks that toot his horn because, hey, he get us 2-3 jobs.
Carrying his lunch pail.
He ain't doing nothing but setting you up for the setup.
He carrying his lunch pail. I wish I would work for somebody that would muzzle me from talking.
I can't do that.
I can't work for you.
No, man.
And as an ex-felon, I tell you this now. Ain't no motherfucking way in the world I'll be working up under the sheriff department, any law enforcement, any prosecutor, because think about it. If you are working in the sheriff department, you ex-felon, or working with the sheriff department or with the prosecutor, let me ask this major question. God forbids that you have to go back to the penitentiary. And you know them people in the penitentiary gonna know that you worked with the sheriff department or worked with the prosecutor. And they are not gonna be too pleased. You know I'm telling the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. I've had brothers call, man, why don't you work with the sheriff department? I said, because I will not. The same reason why I didn't snitch. I'm not going to be working with them and they locking people up, but they still have control over my say so on how I move. I don't get it. I don't get it. You're a puppet.
You know,
you're a fucking puppet. I call it like I see it. You're working for somebody that you can't have no wiggle room, or you're working at their orders. You got a boss, let the boss be your boss. But when you are silenced,
you know, when I hear you use that word snitch, it takes me back years ago, man, to your situation. When you was incarcerated. I know, and a lot of the community know. It wasn't your thing, but you took the fall for a preacher.
Say it again, Lee.
You took the fall for a preacher. You know I know it.
And see, a lot of people ain't listening.
You took the fall for a preacher. But now they want to class Tyrone as being a bad guy.
I'm dangerous.
Tyrone took the fall for a preacher because he didn't want to taint the preacher's name.
Yeah, but they say, watch out for him. Yeah, I'm dangerous. I'm not going to lie. I would tell you to your face, I am a very dangerous guy. Yep.
And what I want to see in the community, I see the little sister Trisha. I see the little sister out there, man. She be working hard and want to bring the things like it's supposed to be. Yes, she use a lot of scriptures, and there ain't nothing wrong with it.
No.
And she uses a lot of what I call slang words, and sometimes there's a time for all that kind of stuff. But what I do not like, these preachers trying to silence her. I do not like preachers trying to silence her, because nobody's trying to silence them in the pulpit. Because a lot of stuff that them folks be saying in the pulpit, it go in one ear and out the other. I'm gonna check. I'm just as saved as anybody else that claim themselves saved.
Period.
July 9th, the third Sunday, July 1977. And this is what my mama told me, God rest her soul. When I went to her house that Sunday evening, she told me, she said, boy, come here and sit down. She said, you done the greatest thing that you could ever do. Give your life to Christ. She said, well, sit down, let me tell you something. She said, I don't want you to be no church hopper. I don't want you running from church to church. And I said, what's wrong with that, Ma? She said, because the devil is in all of them. She said, starting from the preacher all the way back to the back door to the usher. She said, the devil is in all of them. And she said, and if the devil get that preacher, he got everybody else in that church, unless they evaporate and go somewhere else. And then this is, she said, but when you go to church, son, she said, I want you to take your sifter with you. She said, remember how mama back home we used to make the flour, and the more hard piece of flour left in the sifter, we would throw it out.
You got
we would throw it out to the chickens. And she said, that's the same way I want you to do. Everything that's dealing with with God's word, she said, you can use it. But when they come up with that nonsense, throw it over your shoulder, because it ain't no good for you. And that's what I do, Ty. That's what I do. When I go to church and I hear junk, I throw it over my shoulder.
And that's why right now, Lee, and I have to mention, and for those who know me, I don't belong to no church, not in my county, because I'm like this. When I was on the south side of Ypsilanti, raised on the south side of Ypsilanti, I didn't realize there was 19 to 20 churches.
21.
21.
That's right.
I didn't realize there was so many churches that all preach out the same Bible. My thing and my question have always been, you have all of these preachers what would happen if the whole 21 churches, whole church in the streets, in the hood, where the drug activity happens, where the shootings happens. I've always wondered, why couldn't that happen? If that would happen right there in Washtenaw County, Ypsi, all of the preachers, even the choir, come outside of the church, whole church in the hood, whole church where them black bodies laying down, whole church on Black Lives Matter Boulevard in Ypsi on Washington Street, whole church every day until the violence stops. The preachers have the authority by God. They have the authority by God through the good book. That's just like I was talking to the judges. There's some judges out here that don't realize the power that they have. All they have to do is open their mouth. Because when the judge says something the last time, that's that last time that they would have to talk to that person when they sentence them. And that means they're the author of the beginning or the end of their lives. Even if judges was come out from the bench and be more human, talk to people, talk to some of these youth.
I got you. But Tyrone, let me tell you something, son. When you talk about preachers coming out,
they ain't coming.
They're not coming. Let me tell you, Reverend S.L. Robertson, I will forever keep on mentioning his name until I'm dead and gone.
He was the only one out here like that.
I finally got a chance to come to a Ministers Alliance meeting to make a presentation because Reverend S.L. insisted that I do it. And he made it happen. I went to the Ministers Alliance and, trying to let them know you guys got to get involved in the system or the system going to involve you. And I made my presentation. And when it was over, you know what Reverend S.L. said? He said, son, he said, that was a great presentation that you made tonight. He said, but you see all these stiff-necked preachers? You want 5 people from every church to come to the council meeting, school board meeting, trustee meeting. 5 people is all you asking for from each church. And we're going to have a crowd. We're going to have the place crowded out.
It ain't going to happen.
He said, son, it would never happen because they ain't going to do nothing. And guess what, man? That's been 30 years ago. And it has not happened yet. And it's not going to happen. These fellas, preachers, they don't like one another. They can't get along with themselves. What's this separation here, man? You got Pentecostal folks, they got a Ministers Alliance. You got the Baptist folks, they got a Ministers Alliance. Guess what? Separation. And all these preachers together, man. You can't tell me black folks can't own some if they want to. But watch this. You see all them Africans that come from Africa?
Yeah.
Listen to the old man. All them Africans that come from Africa, now they are African Americans because they went through the process.
That's right.
Do you see them dealing with black Americans? No, they don't.
They look at us like we poo-poo.
They do not fool with black Americans.
And they treat us worse.
They going on their own, get their own, and do for their own. Watch this. These black preachers around Ypsilanti, let me show you something. Collectively, Tyrone, they can't get together and say, let's get us a porta john so we all can pee in it.
No, I challenge them.
That's pretty low. That's pretty low if you can't get together and buy a toilet.
I challenge them. Show us this show is on. I challenge them. A lot of people would say, oh, you can't speak against the preachers.
Ain't
nobody speaking against the preachers, people.
No.
For those who have that thought, listen good. We're not saying nothing against the preachers. We saying Jesus didn't sit in the church. Jesus went out there in the streets, in the highways and the byways, to save people. He didn't hang out in the church when his people out there sick.
That ain't gonna happen. See, and you know what? Ty, watch this, and I'm gonna let you go because I know you got a lot of things to do. Preachers do not have no clout in the community no more because, like I said earlier, they don't live here.
No more.
They don't live here. Watch this. These kids, I have had kids tell me, Mr. Tooson, you talking about me going to church? Man, I ain't going to these churches, man. Them dudes doing just what I do.
Yo, you know they do.
These kids see preachers raping little boys, raping little girls, standing in the lottery line, getting whiskey out of Bud and Joe's. These kids see that. They see that.
And they see him sleep. They see him slipping in they friend's mama's house at nighttime. And that's why they don't want to go to their churches too. So I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm gonna leave that out there.
Hey, Ty, you're right on target. You're right on target. And I'm gonna show you something else that I do not agree with. The preachers that's not doing that, and there are some out there that's not doing that.
And they ain't speaking out.
Look out, man.
They ain't talking.
Watch this. Watch this. Watch this, Ty. The first thing you hear them say, Brother Tooson, let God handle it. Put it in God's hand. God ain't got no hand. God ain't got no hand unless they use yours.
You are a soldier of God's truth. Preacher, the preacher that ain't out there with the skull derby up their pant leg. You are the person, you are the shepherd, the good shepherd of God's people. So if you see one preacher doing something out of the ordinary and he leading his flock astray, it doesn't take me to come to his church and see what he's doing, and I know what he's doing. It don't take me to a fellowship. They say you fellowship, you lay down with dogs, you get what?
Yeah, you get fleas.
So I'm gonna watch them and see what they do. I'm gonna watch them and see if they come from behind the pulpit. I'm gonna watch them and see if they can do like most black preachers can do in other areas of the United States. They come together, but in Washtenaw County, Ypsi?
No. Ty, let me show you something. You got a police officer. She is a dedicated police officer. She has children. She has grandchildren. And when it comes down to children, the mentally ill, the handicapped, and old folks, she don't like you messing with them. She don't like it. And that's Annette Coppet. Annette Coppet has put out the sound, wanting the black preachers to come together to help her to stop these boys, because she says, I'm tired of picking black bodies up off the street. Have they came?
Nope.
No, man.
The body count still going up.
They ain't came. And I would love to see the community get behind that police department and make sure that Annette gets a detective bureau, because she doesn't have a bureau. We don't have a bureau in Ypsilanti.
We
just got one detective.
We need one.
See, and if they do that, Ty, I guarantee you, if she gets the right tools in there, she could help curtail crime, because those that commit crime will be brought to justice quicker under her if she had the right folks to work with her. But you know what? Again, when it comes down to Tony Jaguski, and when it comes down to this 11-year-old girl who is black, and they not have given her no help, Tony Jaguski, listen to Lee Tooson. I was hoping that I would never have to throw it on you like this, because when you first came, you came all right. And I told you, this is what I told you, and at the NAACP office, I never had an Italian that I couldn't get along with. But I got an Italian now that's upholding wrong, and I have to throw it on you. And you should accept me as your friend. because only your friends gonna throw it on you and tell you what you should be doing, but your enemies gonna go along with you.
They're gonna roll
You
with you.
understand that? I hope you can understand that.
Mm.
But from that perspective, this little black girl, Jaguski, Black lives does not matter with you. But I guarantee you, if it was one of your kids, you would want everybody between here and Gallup, New Mexico, working on it to bring justice to you, to your kid, and the community. And that's all I got to say. And again, anytime you want to meet me on a one-on-one, I would do it. That's anybody in your police department. I will do it because I'm not gonna have Mike Thompson running around here telling these little young fellas that I'm their enemy when he know devilish well he's their enemy. He are their enemy. Yeah, let me see, I'm gonna close it this time. If a police chief know that he has a sergeant that's not capable of writing a report, should he keep him?
No.
No. You should do something with that dude. The first case, Eddings stood right on my porch with Thompson because they were concerned about what I said about the chase. Eddings stood on my porch and said, Mr. Tooson, I wrote up the whole report. That was Thompson's job to do, Ty. He was supposed to do that. The same way with the last case, it was Thompson's thing to write it up, but he didn't write it up. Jaguski know that he is not capable of writing reports. He throws it on these other little kids and make them do it because he their sergeant and they afraid of him. I'm gonna tell all you young policemen out there, you all need to band together and fight wrong that's happening to each other. And when you do that, the community will be with you.
100%.
They will be with you because I know that police departments sometimes can be the crookedest entity in any city.
And we shouldn't have these many shootings in little old Ypsi. We do
have that.
We do have a police force. We shouldn't have these many shootings.
We should not have that, Ty. And you know what? As you said earlier, if the preachers want to come together and do what they supposed to do, I'm gonna show you something, man. I'm gonna show you something. There's only one preacher that I know that his congregation follows him diligently, and that's the Bunning Bush. He's down there in Wayne County now.
Yeah.
The Bunning Bush follows their preacher everywhere he goes. He can tell them, I want y'all at such and such a place. Watch this. These preachers can't do that because most of their folks is old, can't walk, and rheumatism and arthritis and all that kind of stuff.
Or family.
And they can't do that no way. And guess what? And in turn, they don't show up because I ain't want to hear what them folks got to say. I ain't studying them folks. I'm going to just do my thing. You don't supposed to be doing your thing. You're supposed to be doing God's thing. And that's what I tell my brother who's a preacher. And I tells him the same thing. You don't sit still and see your little sisters and brothers getting hung and holler, I'm gonna turn my back. I don't want to see it, boss. You don't do that.
You can't.
You don't sit down and see a police officer that's struggling, trying to make a difference in the department, and you don't come to her or his rescue. You don't do that. That means that, and you can't leave all the work up to the police. When you got a policeman that's diligently working to do things right, you're supposed to come and say, hey girl, hey brother, I'm down with you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. But you know what? When all this mess go down in the police departments, they don't want nobody to know it. Ypsi has always been, when it come down to me, don't talk to Lee Tooson. And it's the same thing happening right now. Don't talk to Lee Tooson. Yeah, you talk to me. My mouth don't sleep out doors. I'm going to tell it, and I want the whole community to know it. Well, so now, so far as Jerry Clayton do not need me to talk about him. Derrick Jackson do not need me to talk about him. So only thing I'm saying to them, do the right thing, because if you don't do the right thing, I would drop it like it's hot, because I ain't scared. I ain't scared at all. I would drop it like it's hot, because all these politicians that hold you up, most politicians, I'm gonna show you some, Ty. Most politicians got some on them. The system got some on them, and guess what? They can't function right.
Lee, say that one more time.
The system got some on them, and they can't function right, man. They can't. And see, and watch this here. There's what you call an acceptance program. They have to be accepted. And you know what? In order to be accepted, you can't say what you really feel. You hear me? If you want to be accepted into my clan here, you cannot. If you want to infiltrate my clan, you can't say how you feel. You got to say what I want you to say. You hear me?
Not me.
Ty, keep on standing on your porch, man.
That's why
I'm gonna cut this thing off, because you know what? I'm gonna be like when the woman went to see Solomon and she came back. Of course, she's like, hey, I'm paraphrasing now.
Yes, sir.
How was it? You know what she said? The half ain't never been told. Hey, Ty, the half ain't never been told what the old man knows.
I believe that, sir.
All right, brother.
I believe that, sir. Thank you for coming on and hit him and quit him. I know this was a long one, y'all. Y'all rewind it, check it out. And all you preachers, here's Tyrone Bridges saying once again, on I Thought You Knew, it would be a dream come true. All of the Washtenaw County, Ypsilanti preachers come together, all 21 churches of y'all all come together and hit these streets at least one time a week. Please. This is Tyrone Bridges signing out. Thank you again for watching. Mr. Tooson, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. Let's kick some more butt and make some good trouble, sir.
Peace.
All right, peace.